When we really seek the light, we meet the fire. Hello, I'm Charlie Wild. Welcome. In this channel, I make content to help you in your spiritual path. And if you like my work, you can support it by joining me on Patreon. The link is below. In today's video, I'm going to speak about a topic that gets often overlooked but is so key in our process of truly awakening, and that is spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is a defense mechanism that we apply in order to not address the more important aspects of our being, especially to keep in the dark and continue rejecting the unlikable parts of us that we most likely rejected when we were young because of the messages that we received from our immediate and extended environment. And so as we begin a spiritual path, there is a tendency to sort of right away want to rush to ideas and concepts that are idyllic and make us feel better about ourselves. Of course, this makes perfect sense. But most of us have a certain level of trauma, abuse, or internal issues that we must address in order to begin seeing the truth of not only who we are, but to really get a clarity about the environment around us. If your vibration is high enough, fill in the dots, right? If your vibration is high enough, your lover wouldn't have left you. If your vibration is high enough, you can manifest anything you want to. If your vibration is high enough, you will never get sick. Meditation is another example in which we use meditation oftentimes to sedate ourselves. People often come to me and they say, I meditate 2 to 3 hours a day, but I'm a complete mess. And I say, stop meditating. It's not helping you. We spiritually bypass because it gives us a break from the inner turmoil and pain that we're not willing to face. And sometimes this is okay. Sometimes we are so overwhelmed by everything and everyone that we must take a break. And so we will meditate for hours or do yoga or completely disengage and detach from our outer environment. So in a short-term sense, this has its benefits, but in a long-term sense, it can completely obliterate our opportunity to really become present and awake. So why is it so important that we become aware of spiritual bypassing and we address it and we do this in our work? When we don't do any of these things, we continue to live in the pain that we've always lived in, except that we sugarcoat all of our troubles and all of our issues and all of our pain. And just like a drug addict, we look for the next spiritual process and the next thing to sedate us, to drug us up. But deep within, we live in a lot of fear that we're not willing to face, a lot of anger that we're not willing to face, a lot of judgment and self-hatred. Many people who drown themselves in spiritual bypassing, instead of being able to set clear boundaries and have conversations with others, sometimes they will bottle things so much and then they'll just blow up, right? Maybe something that you might have experienced yourself or you might have watched others experience. Maybe people who sort of hold themselves up to this high spiritual standard, and the next thing you know, they lack emotional regulation to deal with difficult situations. I know I've been there myself. We can only outgrow spiritual bypassing and truly transcend and transform is if we come face to face with our inner monsters. In order to ascend, we must descend deeply. We must dive into those rejected parts of us. This includes addressing our inner child, connecting with our inner child, listening, hearing our inner child, and learning how to truly communicate with ourselves. It is not only difficult to do this work, but at times it feels impossible. And so we spiritually bypass. We might spend hours in meditations instead of really facing the monster within us, the monsters within us. And so when someone comes to me and they say, Charlie, I'd like to do a channeled session and speak with Seven and these non-physical entities, they come in and they really want me to give them this sort of morphine. And what they find is that, and what I found when I channel, is that the messages, they're not necessarily always about giving you the ultimate answer. They're about inviting you to discover the answer within you. And this is the tricky part, because in order for you to discover the answer within you, this type of work is really necessary. The first step in any kind of inner spiritual psychological work is awareness. So how do you arrive at a place of awareness about spiritual bypassing? Well, we've all applied spiritual bypassing to a certain degree. So start to notice how you're applying it in your life. Are there important things that you are not willing to face? Are there important things that you have never faced? Notice your pain points, your negative emotions. Those are good indicators. Do you tend to reject your anger and suppress it? Do you ever connect with your inner child? Do you know what that feels like, what it seems like, what it sounds like? Are you aware of the shadowed, darker aspects of you? Have you ever done the inner work? Have you ever delved into the way in which you are conditioned and how this conditioning is manifesting in your life right now? Do you make excuses for your behavior and the behavior of other people? Thank you so much for plugging in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it. Subscribe for more content like this. Thank you and be blessed.